About 280 million years ago, an asteroid the size of an apartment building tumbled through space at 20,000 miles per hour, right toward what is now Middlesboro, Kentucky. The result was catastrophic. The crater, several miles across, is still visible from the air. A helicopter crew bound for another location flies right over the crater. Kentucky ecologist Mark Evans is fascinated by what he sees.
We're coming up to one of the coolest places in Kentucky in that this is a meteor crater right here. The whole Middlesboro Basin. Now turn so you can look at it. Yeah, that'd be cool actually, because that is a neat feature, and you can kind of see now how it's a big bowl. Can you just picture a meteor slamming into the earth right there? Wow. Must have been something if you were here. The early settlers all wondered why there was this big area of flat land here. No one could figure it out.
That could have caused some global changes.
Oh boy, yeah, I'm sure it did.
Warren Anderson, a geologist at the University of Kentucky, has spent years studying the Middlesboro impact site.
When this meteorite hit, it exploded, it rebounded, and it created a basin here in Middlesboro. And it's in this basin that the early settlers, when they came through the mountains, they say, wow, all of this flat land here is very valuable. We can settle here and create a city. So that's why Middlesboro was founded. It's because all of the flat land created by a meteorite impact feature in the mountains of eastern Kentucky.
The moon is pockmarked with hundreds of thousands of meteorite impact craters. So is the Earth.
And the moon does not have a lot of weathering like we do on Earth. So Mars, Mercury, all the other planets have had tremendous amounts of impacts. A lot of these impacts occurred early in the development of the solar system, including Earth. So Earth has probably had a lot of these here. But Earth is a very wet, weathered environment. So a lot of the impacts that we see or that have occurred here have been eroded away. They've weathered, so you don't see them as well. As a matter of fact, some of the older meteorite impacts that we have in Kentucky are hundreds of millions of years old. Like we've looked at Jepkanob, Middlesboro. If you didn't know exactly what you were looking at, you wouldn't realize they were impact features. Whereas if you go to the crater in Arizona, it's a very recent impact. It's only 50 to 100,000 years old. And so it's still very evident that it was an impact feature. It's got a deep basin in it, and it's in a more arid environment, so it doesn't weather quite as rapidly as we do here in the east, where we have a lot of humidity, vegetation, and weathering. So there probably are more. This impact is the largest one that we have in the state. If it's large enough, you can actually get vaporization of the landscape before the actual impact. You'll get pressure build up, and all of this happens within milliseconds. So any kind of structures or anything that was there at that time, most of it would be just vaporized pretty instantaneously. The rest of it would be just explosively catapulted away from the site. It's going to be very catastrophic. It's going to destroy any kind of landforms, life forms within probably 50-mile radius.
There are over 200 known impact sites across the Earth, including Middlesboro, and another 300 suspected sites. No one knows how many more remain to be found. But it was the discovery of a 100-mile-wide crater in the Yucatan Peninsula that sent the scientific world into a frenzy. The object that created it was 6 miles in diameter. It was the giant that may have wiped out the dinosaurs.
You can have rocks the size that created the Yucatan and larger ones impact the Earth. When Yucatan happened, the explosive event was so catastrophic that it created a lot of atmospheric changes, and that affected the life forms that existed at that time, primarily the dinosaurs. This Middlesboro impact is one example of a real good, positive event that's come from a geologic catastrophe. This meteorite impact blew apart the mountains. It created a lot of flat land. And as you can see, it's got a lot of rivers in it, water, it's very fertile, and it's flat land. So when the pioneers came over in the 1700s, they were crossing these mountains, and so they come into this nice area of a fertile land that's very flat. Think, wow, this is a good place to build a city. And so in that sense, it was a real positive influence on the development of southeastern Kentucky.
The community of Middlesboro now promotes the fact that it's the city built in a crater, quite a tourism attraction, but also a reminder of the mystery and danger of space.